World Club, we are starting to gain a lot of more momentum. There's channels appearing, the short man agenda on Rise Up is starting to form. It's not like an incel movement, chat-led maxing. You see the maximum output of all of this. Shout out to this channel, chat-led maxing, by this guy. He seems like a nice guy. Sometimes obviously there's issues and everything. Everybody has their hard times, but we will definitely record a video in the future. I see it. And just reacting to a few videos now, supporting each other and everything, because this movement is for everybody. You know, forming this community, I think, is the main thing. Not just standing there alone as short men all over the world, but actually coming together and being like, okay, let's use this pain that we have, come together and build something great. You can join below. It's Short Man World Club. Discord and Telegram is in a link. It's free. So let's. Why gym maxing never helped me? Okay, gym maxing. What I would say about it is that your frame is small as a short guy. You know, you never get that big frame. You look bigger in comparison to your body, maybe. But that's also not guaranteed. But you know, it's like you're never gonna be that big as when the tall guys actually go to the gym.
Between the ages of 15 and 19, I spent over 4,000 hours gym maxing.
Crazy.
I got huge. I thought it would fix everything, but I was still short, still getting rejected.
I think he's 5'4".
Oh,
I've seen his TikTok, solid.
I wish I could take it
This looks nice. Looks like the south of France.
all back. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through the years I spent obsessively working out, why I did it,
Interesting.
what I thought it would fix,
Thank you for sharing
and
your
what
experience,
I
man.
realized too late. Then I'll break down why gym maxing just doesn't work the way short guys think it will, and how it actually helps.
I go to the gym because it helps my health, and I have to do it because my back hurts and like just kind of
Hold me back.
It held you back? What?
So my desire for fitness started out simple. After a lifetime of eating terrible, chemical-filled fast food, I was unhealthy, and I could feel it. And I had a huge crush on
That's crazy.
this girl in class. She rejected me in this horrible, brutal way, and I went from being a happy-go-lucky kid to one of the most depressed kids in school. On top of that, I was getting bullied. This one tall kid
me too.
was slapping me around every
Bro got kicked in the back. Now it's fucking broken. I got like thrown around on my arm, like literally pushed by 10 people.
day, making me feel
like
worthless. And
they put
by
me
the end
like
of that
this.
year, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buckle in and I'm gonna lose
Shout out,
this
you have a
weight.
car,
I'm
I don't
gonna
have a
prove to
car.
everybody I can be desirable. So that's what I did. I ended up losing all the weight in about 4 months.
Bro, you
I got
look
a
like
nice
Justin
haircut,
Bieber.
Came back to school. Ended up
Bro, that could be a picture of young Justin Bieber.
losing all the weight in about 4 months. And I got a nice haircut, came back to school, and everybody noticed a transformation. I entered into the freshman year of high school, and things were pretty good that year. All of my friends were super tall, and I didn't really think too much of it.
The eyes
but
look dead.
what I realized later was that I didn't really get bullied that year because those guys were intimidating everybody who would have seen me as an easy target. And if you're new to the channel, I stopped growing when I was 12 at 5'3.5".
That's crazy.
Due to what I
stopped growing at like 14.
later realized was a precocious
Like you kind of know you're not gonna grow. So weird.
puberty, which increased my bone age at an unnatural rate and caused me to stop growing. But when I was 14, that really didn't matter that much because most people were around my size.
Yeah, and they think
And
I think you're gonna grow. Yeah, you're gonna grow.
got a lot of attention from girls. I felt really good about myself. Everything was great. But I developed a massive crush on this girl that year, and it went terribly. And by the end
Imagine you're in a relationship from a young age, and then you grow, and she starts to notice you're not gonna grow, so you leave. She leaves you.
of that year, there was this new kid who started sitting at our art table with me and my one-itis and my best friend. And instead of me getting the attention, now this guy was getting all the attention.
At least you had best friends. I moved a lot. Like I moved a lot around, so different cities, and so my best friends left them early. You know.
The first thing I noticed was this guy's tall. Of course, it didn't really click yet.
Yeah, it's dangerous to be friends with tall guys.
But throughout that year, I was taking biology classes and I was really interested in evolution. And I was starting to learn about how body size plays a role in dominance hierarchies and in natural selection.
So early.
But that whole freshman year, I had stopped doing all those workouts because
Bro seems smart though.
And I was still fit and I felt like it wasn't necessary.
You seem smart. You have more energy
But
than me, bro.
that would all change come the next year. So I went into the summer after freshman year depressed about having been rejected by the biggest crush of my life. And every summer we had this Christian Bible camp that everyone in the area went to. And when we were reaching our teens, it became less about just having fun and more about getting attention from girls. And due to my precocious puberty, my hormones were raging even more than everyone else's. And there were...
Yeah, I was early too. Started masturbating about 4 years.
There were a few things that happened at that camp that year that started to reinforce the idea of height being the most desirable trait. Like, there was this situation where we were all around the pool, and there was this, like, 6'3" kid in our cabin, and this other kid who was, like, the same height as me from our cabin, and we were all hanging out together.
Bro,
and the girls were
he has so many memories from, like, specific stuff. I don't even know, bro. Forgot everything.
Surrounding this tall guy and glazing him and touching him and making fun of the short guy and saying,
"Why are you so tiny compared to so-and-so?"
Stuff like that. And I was looking over there thinking, like, hey, I'm the same size as that guy, like, what the hell? And of course, after what I had gone through and just everything so far, I was starting to lose confidence. So we enter into sophomore year.
They say, yeah, just be confident. Well, you can't choose confidence, right?
And
confidence is given, not earned.
I'm starting to get more depressed. I'm still obsessed with my crush from the previous year, and I'm starting to see myself more and more as inferior and wondering, when am I ever going to grow? Even so, as more time went by, kids were starting to outgrow me left and right. And that's when the bullying really started, because by that time, a lot of my good friends, my big friends, had started to leave the school, and I felt more vulnerable. And they gave us a choice of taking PE class or weight training. And of course, I wanted to take weight training. And this weight training class was a double-edged sword.
Because tall people have more strength. Like, it's easy, you know?
Everything I needed to know to gain muscle in an optimal way. But it was also where I started to experience the worst bullying I had experienced so far in high school. There was this one kid, of course he was tall, had broad shoulders, and he picked on me so much that I was afraid to use the drinking fountain, because every single time I tried to take a drink, he would push my face into it and almost like break my teeth. And I was too scared to do anything about it, so that further eroded my self. And almost every single time I tried to take a drink, he would push my face into it and almost like break my teeth.
That's crazy, bro. That's like, yeah, we are animals, you know?
I was too scared to do anything about it, so that further eroded my self-confidence and feelings of inferiority. But it also motivated me to push myself harder in the weight training
become a
class.
psychopath.
And by the end of that year, I had started to gain some muscle.
Like, that really can make you go crazy.
Of course, regardless of all the exercise and dopamine that's supposed to release, I progressively became more and more insecure and depressed, mainly because that year was the year I officially discovered what was wrong with me. I went to the doctor, she told me my growth plateaued, we took a test, realized that my growth plates had fused, and she basically told me that I'm not going to grow anymore. So then I went home and I started researching all the chemicals.
Oh, wow.
And all the products that could have caused this to happen, and I discovered all the chemicals that I had put in my body because my family wasn't well informed enough to understand these things. They didn't want to spend the money to get the higher quality natural products and organic foods, and comparing myself
I only ate like frozen shit.
The upper class rich kids whose families provided for them all that stuff, and seeing how they're still growing and they're abusing me and making me feel even more inferior, it just really started to internalize this inferiority complex. And that's when I really started to overcompensate with these workouts. And by that next summer, I went to the summer camp again, had another major crush, another major disappointment that went horribly, and entered into the new year feeling horrible about myself. And by the end of that semester, I had already left the school. I went into independent study, and in that time, I developed this routine of working out 4 hours a day, 3 or 4 days a week, doing 3 hours of weightlifting, pull-ups, military-style push-ups, stuff like that, and then 1 hour of cardio. And I would drink these massive protein green smoothies. I changed my diet to being 100% organic, 5,000 calories a day of mostly protein, vegetables, and fruit.
There you go,
And
extreme.
not only was I attempting to gain muscle as much as possible, but I was
Self-destruction.
also doing this in an attempt to hopefully grow.
It's
Even
also self-destruction.
though the doctor said I wouldn't grow anymore, but by the second semester of junior year, I went into a new school. And at this new school, the bullying persisted. And even though I was really working out a lot by then, and I had built
Crazy.
a good amount of muscle by that time, and I still felt intimidated
Let's see.
a lot by then, and I had built
Bro, it still looks, yeah, like, bro, like, face, like, bro, you need to, like, if you lost, like, the face fat, you know, like, that's too much fat, like, you should have gone lean, I think.
a good amount of muscle by that time, and I still felt intimidated and inferior compared to this tall, rich kid bully. And the last thing I wanted was to actually get into a fight with this guy and have everybody know that he beat me up. So what did I do? I just put up with it, and it further made me feel even worse about myself. Of course, I developed more crushes on more girls, got rejected more and more, even though I had all this muscle and I felt like I should have been getting more attention. I wasn't. I did get some more attention, but it was very limited. And entering into senior year, I developed a new crush, and this one would be the biggest crush of all time.
Bro.
And I really tried my best with her, and she treated me like garbage. And what do I see the next day? The tall, rich jock with broad shoulders, who's lanky and not even attractive in the face, over there talking to her, and she's sitting there like,
Ew.
and I just thought,
Bro,
of
yeah.
course, she's all over the
course.
tall guy, because that girl, like all the girls I had liked previously, were thick, curvaceous girls that are very feminine. Those are the ones that are fertility goddesses that all the guys in prehistoric tribal life would want because they would make the most healthy, fertile mothers. And of course, when you've got all the men competing over the most fertile woman, you're going to have the biggest, strongest guy winning out. And that's exactly what the women want. The most powerful masculine men that would make the best providers and protectors. But seeing this lanky guy get all the attention really started to get into my head
You
and
can't
say,
do
hey,
anything. You have no
it
choice.
kind of all makes sense now. Because of course, you know, a tall guy's
You're-
lanky for now, but he'll fill out eventually, and instinctually women realize that. And of course, even though by the middle of senior year, I was really buff, it didn't seem to matter. I was still getting bullied by tall guys left and right. This one guy in particular was just relentless, and I really wanted to do something about it. But again, he towered over me, and of course, he was a rich kid too. And all I could think about was how completely life-ruining and humiliating it would be if I actually did fight him and lose. So high school ended, and I continued the workout routine into the first couple of years of college. I thought that things would improve. I thought people would get more mature, but no.
Bro,
it
the
didn't.
crazy-
I
the
continued to
stories
be
you have is
bullied,
crazy, bro.
humiliated, and belittled.
can make
in front
this
of
go
all the
viral,
girls. And
like-
even though I was strong, I felt like I couldn't do anything about it because not only were these guys tall, but they were starting to gain muscle at this point. And as futile as I felt like it was,
Bro, it's like he seems still young to me, like in his head. So definitely on a like wavelength. Even I don't know if you have a family, probably not. But yeah, like we should all make friends, you know, in this community.
I felt compelled to continue doing it because I felt like if I stopped, it would be like completely giving up and admitting defeat, and I would never recover. But by the time I was 19, I had really completely internalized this inferiority complex to the absolute extreme. And I realized that no matter how hard I trained,
But this
I would
game is
sit
weird.
next to these tall girls in class. This one girl, her shoulder was like up here, her head was way up
What?
there, and I would look over and just see it plain as day. Not only were their arms way longer than mine, but they were thicker too. And they barely even worked out.
But what's crazy, I was like with this one girl out of Vietnam, like they are way thinner, like probably one of the thinnest women in the world. Bro, my arms are the same size as hers, like more this year, and also the legs, crazy.
And I was the one pushing myself to the absolute limit for 4 years, only to be mobbed by a girl sitting next to
Bro's
me
growth
who
is
barely
insane.
even exercised. And that's when it hit me. This was not a game that I could win.
It's crazy
No
how
matter-
we are. 2025 is the year of short men. The gym makes, yeah.
How much I lifted, I still had short bones. And that's what people saw first. If you've ever gone through something like that, like chasing validation just to feel worthy, then hit like and subscribe, because I've got a lot more stories where this came from.
That's crazy,
So after
bro.
4,000 hours
And you have all of these like memories too.
of discipline, training, I was still depressed.
And you never
and I
never
was
tell us
still
the age. I don't know what the age is. Probably like, I hope over 20, because if not, I'm jealous. Yeah.
insecure. It did not solve my problems, and just a few months after I turned 19, I snapped.
Okay, turn 19. That's crazy. You look older.
And I've told a lot of you guys about this in previous videos, but I went from wanting to be the macho alpha male and overcompensating with muscle to being the complete opposite. I went from liking those thick, curvaceous, fertility goddess looking girls to liking the complete opposite. The girls that looked like they play in the NBA, 6 foot plus, broad
Save the
shoulders,
bloodline.
flat chest, no hips, and there's nothing I enjoyed more than being mocked by them. Hell, even being bullied and teased I started to like. And the first thing
You
I
start to
thought
make
after
up
I
your
snapped
reality
was,
was possible
God,
as the cope of the delusion.
God damn it, I wish I didn't spend that 4,000 hours building all this muscle, because now I feel like I don't fit the subjective image that I see myself as. And to this day, I look back at that time as wasted years. I could have done so much with those 4,000 hours. What I wish I would have done most
Yeah, I
is
do
start
it.
a YouTube channel.
I do it because of
this
mine.
was back in the early to mid 2010s. The
Oh, wow.
golden age of YouTube.
Okay,
Before the
2010. Okay, so now he's like 30.
Apocalypse. If instead of spending all that time working out, I would have dedicated myself and started a YouTube channel, by now I would have
Short
had
man
my own
workout.
house. And that would have been much more effective in eventually attracting the kind of woman that I want into my life than a bunch of manlet muscle. The only upside to all of that time spent was that it helped offset the negative health effects of all the smoking and drinking that I did over those years.
Yeah, and you start to realize things. And
But if I wasn't insecure about my height in the first place, I wouldn't have done all that smoking and drinking.
Yep.
So yeah, I pretty much just all cancels out in the end now, doesn't it? So that's my story
Crazy.
of gym maxing in my life. But now let's talk about how gym maxing fails short guys just in general, overall. As you know, short guys gain muscle fast. And it makes sense because
No,
we've
same.
got less space for
It's
the
cap.
same amount of muscle
this cap
tissue.
is a myth.
But there's a downside to that. We plateau sooner. We have a lower maximum strength potential than
Yeah.
tall guys do. And it makes sense why my crush in senior year chose the lanky tall guy over me. Because
Potential.
what they're looking for most is the frame. They understand
Potential.
that every man has the potential to build muscle. But what's most important is the foundation that you start with. When you're building a house,
Smart
the
take.
foundation is the most important thing.
Smart
the
take.
larger the foundation, the larger the house is going to be in the end. And when you have a small house, of course, it's less costly to build, it takes less time, but in the end, it's going to have lower value. And
Bro,
it's
you're
going to be
smart,
seen as
man.
not as much of a status symbol.
Good takes.
So when you think of it that way, it makes perfect sense why women are genetically, instinctually programmed to prefer the guy with
Bro,
the larger
definitely,
frame.
we can
even if
you can definitely become a millionaire still, 100%.
the smaller guy has a lot of compact muscle. Their brain already understands behind the scenes that your gains are cheap. But when a tall person with broad shoulders fills out by the time they're in their late 20s, they completely dominate everyone else. And this phenomena is very common with
Yeah.
tall athletes.
Like if they
For example,
if they
there are
actually max out, bro.
these tall girls that I like who started out playing basketball or volleyball when they were young, and they looked really lanky and skinny and kind of frail almost. But then you look at them 10 years later and you come to realize that, oh my God, I never had any advantage over them. Now that they've reached their full form, I'm like an inferior little runt begging at their feet for mercy. Because now they've got the frame, they've got the foundation, and the muscle. You can bet your ass that they're 10 times stronger than you. And sure, there are some women, like maybe 1% of them, who actually prefer shorter, compact guys. But here's an example of how women in general
weird.
look at a short guy who
Yeah, like
works
they
out
wanna
and
dominate.
exercises. They see you as overcompensating. And that's exactly what I was doing. But they just assume that every short guy is overcompensating, and everyone that sees
Everything
you is
you
just
does.
gonna mock you and make fun of you for being short and insecure and having little man syndrome. And God forbid your girlfriend is a little bit taller than you. Now, like I was saying, you might look at tall people in their late teens and think, oh, they're lanky, they look awkward. But you gotta realize that tall people, the vast majority of the time, are late bloomers. They take a lot more time to fill out. Just like a mansion takes more time to build up than a hovel. Now,
That's
you
crazy.
may feel bad about yourself now and wish that you could have that thick, compact
you better to
frame that
realize,
the little
bro.
guy does.
Better to like get swallow all the pain as early as possible. That's why we short guys look so, look so old.
But in the long term, your frame wins. So appreciate yourself, love your body, and realize that there is no gym for your bones. That little guy who's got the muscle now, yeah, he can gain muscle, but you know what? That little guy won't ever be able to grow his bones. And that's where my favorite quote comes in. The higher the hill, the better the view from the
Okay.
top. The longer it takes, the harder it is, the more growing pains you have to go through, the more resources and food you have to put in, the more expensive it is to feed yourself all the best, most natural, organic stuff. All those years of effort and hardship will give you a permanent, insurmountable advantage over that little guy. And that makes height and frame the ultimate physical branding of social status in our society today and throughout history. Large size and frame is associated with abundance and prosperity, and there's a good reason for that. So yeah, why should I invest
Like, it doesn't-
thousands of hours?
I'm 5'7", yeah, I'm
into
taller
working
than this guy maybe, but I'm always looking, like, you can always look down. It doesn't matter if you're 5'3", 5'4", you can always look down. There's always people that have it worse than you, so trying to help them is always, you know, a good way.
out,
Also to lift
lifting
yourself up in a weird way, but it's just the way it is, you know.
weights, trying to compensate for being small, when the vast majority of women are just going to want the tall guy with the large frame anyway.
Yeah.
And the women that would like me either way. I might as well put my effort and energy into something that's going to build my life up long term.
Bro, I have this video on
Things that
full
don't have
speaker.
to
I don't give a
do
fuck.
with
Everybody
trying-
hears it, but it's, you know, it's the truth. So
Trying to overcome the limitations of my physical body. And I wish that I never would have gone through all that exercise, because I would have been even more puny and frail and weak. And I have had to learn to enjoy being inferior and to enjoy being vulnerable.
crazy.
The types of women that like me tend to be bisexual. They want a pretty boy who's got an attractive face and who's fit but not necessarily muscular. They don't mind if you're a little zesty and a little effeminate.
Crazy.
And that's why one of the only ways that I would still want to work out is doing lower body workouts. Because women of that orientation that I like to niche max for, they're more
Niche
attracted
max.
to the lower body of a man than the upper body. And that's something I'd like to build for them. The only problem is I really tried that a few years ago.
Niche
and
max. Niche maxing is crazy.
It ended up exacerbating my respiratory problems so much that I just couldn't sleep at all. So I had to quit.
Bro, I'm short and I have like a broken back spine.
Because I couldn't live
Imagine.
with getting 2 hours of sleep every night. But where I'm at
Yeah.
right now, loving my body, my size, not caring about building muscle, knowing that I have an attractive face and
Good
feeling
stuff.
confident, being attracted to tall, dominant women with broad shoulders and narrow hips and big
That's
hands
good,
and
bro.
feet,
Don't forget to make kids, you know.
I
if you
now
can.
feel more aligned with my desires than ever before. And now that I'm more authentic, I actually have a much easier time attracting women. In fact, ever since that day I changed when I was 19, I had way more success in my life. And even now that I've lost all the muscle, I've got more attention from girls now than I ever did, even at the peak of my physical form. It took me 4,000 hours to learn, but you can't lift your way out of being short. So I'm curious, have any of you gone through something
Bro, what's this?
similar?
Bro, is
Regretting
this your yard here, bro?
the
You
time you spent trying to be something you're not?
crazy. You're
Let me know in the
successful. What?
comments. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you're still looking for an escape plan as a short
Bro, what is this?
guy, let me show you why being a passport bro isn't it either.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Okay, next video this. Okay. Bye bye.